Hello and welcome to Oddspedia Bundesliga Matchday 9. Ronan, we saw a lot of records from Bayern Munich. I don't know if you are keeping the records in your book, but it's the best start ever from a football team in the top 5 leagues. Amazing start, an amazing goal scored by Harry Kane in midweek, by the way.
Yeah, they beat Cologne 4-1 in the cup to make that 14 wins in a row to start the season, so that's the best ever. AC Milan had the previous record back in 1992, 1993, if our viewers remember back that long. But yeah, Bayern Munich are unstoppable this season. So yeah, we just bet on Bayern Munich to win every week, and I think every match, regardless of competition, I think you'll be doing pretty well this season.
And Harry Kane to score also is a safe bet. 12 goals scored only in the Bundesliga, and he's playing every single game also in the cup. If you haven't watched the goal he scored against Cologne, I aim you to go to YouTube after watching this video and check it out because it's an amazing goal. Well, let's analyze this match day 9. Remember, guys, ask any question to Ronan. He knows everything about the Bundesliga. And don't forget to press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. Well, Augsburg Dortmund is the game we have tonight. Actually, on Friday, Dortmund survived in the cup. It wasn't easy, of course, going to Frankfurt, but they won in penalties. Also, they beat Cologne in the very last minute in the Bundesliga in their last game against Cologne after the defeat against Bayern Munich, and Augsburg only 7 points in this Bundesliga. They were smashed by RB Leipzig. I don't know if you expect this big result also from Dortmund.
Yeah, I think this is a match they have to kind of earmark for the maximum 3 points, and after a kind of a tricky tie in the cup this week that you mentioned. But there was an interesting stat I saw after that one that no team has been knocked out more often by the same team than Frankfurt in the cup this century than Dortmund. So every time they get knocked out in the DFB Pokal, it seems to be against Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, they are their biggest enemy in the cup. So Dortmund, I suppose they'll be hoping for an easier match against Augsburg because Augsburg have been struggling a bit. No wins and just 1 goal in the past 3 games. Back-to-back home defeats without scoring for Augsburg. They lost to Bochum in the cup, so it hasn't been a good time or a good season so far for them this season. They were hoping for better, I think, under their new coach. And Dortmund on the road in the Bundesliga, they were pretty good. They're pretty good usually. They had back-to-back wins to 0 before they travelled to Munich, and that Munich this season, like I mentioned, nobody is going to beat them, or nobody does beat them. Everyone just loses to them. So that's their only away defeat in all competitions this season. So they have been good on the road this season. They drew in midweek, like I said, but they won on penalties. To win to 0, Dortmund to win to 0, I like to look at 360 in this one. Both teams to score no could be another decent option at 245. But I think it's hard to look past just the most obvious bet of all, which is a Dortmund win in this one. That's somewhere around 170, so I think that would be pretty good.
Yeah, indeed, it's not bad, although our smart bet tool is predicting double chance. Ronan, look at our smart bet AI, the top tip is double chance, although the confidence rating is not 5 stars, but the odds for double chance is 2.4. We have 𝗀𝗵𝗻𝗀 going for Dortmund to win 2-3 or 4-1. Dortmund to win and under 3.5 goals is one Chuk's tip for the game we have tonight on Friday. For Saturday, we start in Heidenheim playing against Frankfurt. A tough start, a tough season so far for Frankfurt, conceding goals everywhere. Out of the Pokal in the Champions League is not getting better because they are getting 5 goals from every team. But as you predicted, they beat Pauli in the last Bundesliga game. I guess we should also back them against Heidenheim, only 4 points for Heidenheim, and the odds for Frankfurt to win actually are very good.
Yeah, They look pretty good. 195 looks pretty good there. And Heidenheim, the 4 games without a win and knocked out by Hamburg in the cup in midweek. They are 17th in the table. So anyone that's kind of a European contender playing against them seems a good bet when they are a team that kind of are favoured for relegation. We've been saying that for a few weeks now. We've been saying that since the start of the season, probably to Heidenheim. They just don't look like they have the squad depth or the players to stay up this season, unfortunately. And it seems to have worked out that way so far. Frankfurt, they were conceding goals, scoring lots of goals, but now they've had 2 games in a row with 2 or fewer goals in them. So maybe this fun and entertaining Frankfurt that we saw earlier in the season, maybe it's gone, or maybe Heidenheim is the perfect team to bring it back, all those Frankfurt goals, because Frankfurt won 3-0 and 4-0 against Heidenheim last season, so they do have a good record against them. For to win 195 is impossible to look past, like you were saying. I think it looks pretty good. I think they can get back in the score sheet and score a couple of goals in this one. Frankfurt over 1.5 goals is 167, but I'm going to combine both of those. Well, sort of combine. I'm going to say there's going to be over 1.5 goals in the match rather than over 1.5 goals to push the bet up over 2. So Frankfurt to win and over 1.5 total match goals is 210.
Well, exactly the same tip 𝗀𝗵𝗏𝗍𝗏 is telling us, and head-to-head, 𝗀𝗵cie is saying Frankfurt to win and over 1.5 goals as well. Everyone is going for this bet, so let's go for it. Even the Frankfurt to win, simple as that, is around 2. Next game is a really good one. RB Leipzig, Stuttgart, second against third, both doing a great season. Leipzig 6-0 against Augsburg, 2-1 before that against Hamburg, and also Stuttgart beat Mainz. It's 5 consecutive wins in the Bundesliga, and actually these teams, Leipzig also won in the cup 4-1 against Cottbus. Stuttgart also won against Mainz, back-to-back wins against Mainz.
Yeah, pretty good. Stuttgart have been a very kind of good team to watch this season, and surprisingly, RB Leipzig have been too, despite the fact that they sold so many players and had such a big turnover. But as we've seen, not playing in Europe is probably helping them this season with the players they have. So that kind of balance is kind of keeping the players fit, keeping the players sharp, keeping the players with their eye on the prize, which is to win the league and maybe win the cup, because that win over Koppel's a East German fixture, right? Although Koppel's are a traditional East German team, and like RB Leipzig, they were around in the days of actual East Germany. That's a history lesson for a different day. But yeah, this RB Leipzig team, I've liked the look of them. They're scoring plenty of goals, conceding a few goals too, and Stuttgart, the same could be said. So the last 7 meetings between these two sides have all been both teams to score. Yes, Stuttgart won 3 times against RB Leipzig last season because they won 2-1 and 3-2 in the league, as well as 3-1 in the cup. So they usually tend to play out entertaining matches. Leipzig have had both teams to score, yes, in 3 of their last 4 games, including that 4-1 win over Koppel's, another entertaining match. Stuttgart have scored 2 or more goals in each of their last 3 games. So both teams to score, yes. 144 could be an option, but there's not great value in it, obviously, because it's only 144. The bookies are obviously expecting a thriller in this match, because I think that's what we should, from what we've seen from these two teams so far. They're going all out to win, and they're getting plenty of goals. So total goals over 3.25 is a much better bet, because it comes in just around 2, like you said, for in the previous match, and we kind of look for bets that kind of give you that kind of return.
Mm-hmm. Well, 𝗀𝗵𝗏𝗍𝗏 is doing the same, actually, over 3.5 goals. In his case, we have Nish saying that the Stuttgart double chance is good for him. Next game is Mainz, Werder Bremen. If you said Stuttgart Leipzig has been helped also for not playing Champions League football, the opposite we can say about Mainz is 4 consecutive defeats in the Bundesliga, also out of the Pokal, only 1 win in the Bundesliga. They are playing in the conference. That's why also perhaps they are struggling as well in the Bundesliga. And Bremen, 11 points, 7 in the last 3 games. Actually, really good run for them.
Yeah, 3 games unbeaten, and they didn't play in the cup match. They didn't play in the cup week in the midweek because they were already knocked out by Arminia Bielefeld before the Bundesliga even started kind of kicked off. So so they are a team that kind of have their focus is fully on the Bundesliga, whereas Mainz, their focus is kind of both on the Conference League and the Bundesliga, and they've been great in the Conference League. They've won both games in the Conference League, but they don't get to play the likes of Ammonia, Nicosia, or Mostar and teams like this in the Bundesliga. So it has been a bit trickier. They have 5 defeats in a row against German opposition in Germany. So yeah, the Conference League is going well for them. Domestic football, not so much. So I think this Mainz team they need to pick up points, but the way Bremen have been playing, like you said, 7 points in their last 3 games, so 3 games unbeaten. They are playing pretty well. Bremen won both matches against them last season. Total goals under 3.5 could be a good option in this one, because I had a look at the smart bet last night and they had 4-star confidence for this one. I think it could be a good one because this some of our comments are saying under 2.5 goals and score 0-0 or 1-1. They do seem like very strong possibilities for this match, because these are 2 teams that don't score lots of goals usually. But the smart bet has 5-star confidence, or at least it did when I checked, for Bremen double chance, and I really like to look at that one, 1.85.
All right, this time we agree with the Oddspedia supercomputer. Next game, St. Pauli Gladbach. This should be important for the relegation battle. Gladbach is the only team without a win, only 3 points. St. Pauli 7, only 6 goals scored for Gladbach in all those games. But St. Pauli are in really bad form, 4 consecutive defeats. Not sure who are you backing, Ronan? This is the classic both teams to lose.
Yeah, this is the classic both teams to lose match, so it could be a draw. Yeah, 3.55 looks pretty good for the draw. These are 2 teams that are kind of been struggling a bit. Say Pauli, 4 or 5 defeats in a row in the Bundesliga. It's not great for them at the moment. They were really kind of struggling, and maybe that's kind of what we expected a bit at times last season. But they surprised us on the road, particularly in away matches last season. They kind of struggled at home, but they were picking up points here and there, and they haven't really done too much of that. They only have 7 points so far in the Bundesliga. Monchengladbach, they cannot buy a win at the moment, so it would be hard to bet on them to beat anybody. So St. Pauli double chance could be an option. Obviously, they think that they could get something. Gladbach, obviously, no wins. They've lost the last 2 matches, so they haven't even been good in the last couple of weeks. They haven't even been picking up a single point. It was 1-1 in Hamburg last season. Correct score 1-1 could be an option. 6.50 maybe, but I'm not going to be super confident about anything in this match. I think this is one that you steer clear of. But if I had to go for something, it would be the draw at 3.55.
Draw. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 is saying this game screams draw, like Tom Rennie would say. Union Berlin Freiburg is the next one, both in the middle of the table. Union Berlin lost to Bremen. Freiburg lost to Leverkusen. It looks like Freiburg, they are only happy when they are playing in Europe.
Yeah, it does. That seems to be the case. A bit like Mainz, I suppose. That's what their kind of joy is coming from this season. Union have been kind of a bit inconsistent, but they've picked up a bit more consistency, especially at home. They've only lost 1 match at home. They've won 2. They've won their last match at home. They've won 3 of the past 5 meetings with Freiburg, and the other 2, Freiburg didn't win either of them. They've been draws. So, Freiburg have not been great in the Bundesliga. They haven't scored in either of the last 2 Bundesliga games. They haven't beaten Union Berlin in Berlin since 2004. So that's going back 21 years since the last time they got all 3 points from Union Berlin. So I'm not sure it's going to happen here either. I like Union Berlin to win at 2.63, although 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 sees another draw here. I wouldn't necessarily rule that one out, so that's why I'm going a bit safer, and I'm going for Union draw no bet at 180.
I see another draw. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 is saying, Babab has a question for you, Ronan. When did you start following the Bundesliga?
I always kind of followed the Bundesliga because my dad actually lived in Germany in the 1970s. He went to the 1974 World Cup in West Germany back then. So kind of the love of German football kind of came from there. So I've always kind of followed the Bundesliga, and the League of Ireland team, my local team that I supported as a kid and a teenager, they went bankrupt. So I had to find something else to fall in love with. So German football seemed to have got my attention.
Well, if you follow, of course, German football, best team Bayern Munich against Leverkusen. Let's talk about the stats. Record after record for Bayern Munich, as we said at the beginning, is the best start ever for a football team in the top 5 leagues. They are winning every single game. Most of the games actually by a good goal difference. In the cup was a little bit more difficult, especially in the first half. But then they thrashed Cologne, and the Hurricane keeps scoring goals for fun and beautiful goals. Again, the one he scored in the cup is just amazing. And Leverkusen in a good run in the Bundesliga. If we forget the game against PSG in the Champions League, is 4 consecutive wins in Germany.
Yeah, they seem to have turned the corner since second Erik ten Hag. There was an article in the Athletic from Seb Zapper-Bloor kind of this week talking about how things are going right and the rebuild is kind of finally working for Bayer Leverkusen. So, yeah, that this is a team that have looked to turn a corner, but the corner they might have turned this week is into Bayern Munich, who are going straight to wins every single week. And even after that match against Cologne, Vincent Kompany was interviewed by Archie Rentut on ESPN afterward, and Archie kind of asked him about them struggling to win, and Vincent Kompany was kind of shocked, as of course we didn't struggle to win. We won 4-1, kind of. He was kind of, this was going to happen all along. It was inevitable that Bayern Munich would win, and it seemed to be inevitable that they'll win every match so far this season, including against teams like Bayer Leverkusen. They've won 11 of the last 20 meetings they've played with Bayer Leverkusen, so history is on their side there. Leverkusen haven't scored against Bayern Munich in the last 3 meetings. If you remember last season, they obviously played each other in the Champions League, and Bayern kind of ran riot in one of the matches. So yeah, this is a team that Bayer Leverkusen 2 years ago liked playing against, but maybe not last year, maybe definitely not this season, because that's 14 matches, 14 wins in a row, like you mentioned at the top of the show. As well as that, they're one of few teams in Europe that are unbeaten in the league this season. And I saw a nice comparison that Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, 8 matches, 8 wins, and Atalanta in Serie A have gone 9 matches unbeaten, but 2 wins and 7 draws. So yeah, some unbeaten runs are different to other unbeaten runs. But I think Bayern Munich can win this one again. Leverkusen have back-to-back wins since that PSG win in the Bundesliga, but Bayern Munich have history on their side. Bayern Munich have momentum on their side. Bayern Munich look unstoppable this season. The most common result here is 2-1. So both teams to score, yes, looks good at 162. Usually does in this fixture anyway, apart from last season when Bayern Munich were kind of dominant, but in the previous 2 seasons it did. Bayern to win and both teams to score, yes, is 215. So I will take that one.
Well, Bayern to win 2-3 or 4-1, is telling us. So Bayern to win and both teams to score should be a good bet for the best game probably we have this weekend. And for Sunday, we have a Cologne, Hamburg, both the newly promoted team, remember, and both doing a good season. Hamburg, 8 points, lost to Wolfsburg and Leipzig in the last 2 games, but won in the cup, as you said. And Cologne, 11 points. Usually we see low-scoring games with Cologne, something that is not the rule in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, well, these 2 teams were playing in the Zweite League, in the second Bundesliga kind of recently. So yeah, they might be bringing that sort of form to them. Hamburg won both games in the second division last season, but it's very tough week for Cologne. They had Bayern in the cup. They travelled to Dortmund last weekend, so the fixture list has not been kind to them. So we'll be hoping that they can get something here from this one. All Cologne's last 3 Bundesliga games have had 2 or fewer goals, like we said. Hamburg, their last 2 games are both 1-0s. They beat Heidenheim 1-0 in the cup after losing 1-0 to Wolfsburg. So both teams to score no could be a good option, which is rarely what we tip in the Bundesliga. Well, I tend to tip it, but it's rarely what happens in the Bundesliga. I tip it when I see matches where it's likely to happen. It's likely to happen here, 243. And then under 3 goals is another option either at 183, because this one has all the looks of a snooze fest. Although we could turn around next Sunday or this coming Sunday and say, well, that was a cracker, wasn't it? That was maybe felt like a second division game rather than a Bundesliga.
Cologne to win. 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗏𝗀 is going for it. This is 2.1. Cologne to win. And the last game is Wolfsburg, Hoffenheim. Wolfsburg beat Hamburg, a really important win after losing 4 games in a row. Hoffenheim, close to Europe, back-to-back wins against Heidenheim and Pauli. The odds are really level for this one, Ronan. Difficult to say who is the favorite for this one.
Yeah, it is that, and they're kind of not too far away from each other on the table. If you look at the moment, Hoffenheim have 13 points and Wolfsburg have 8 points, but they're 7th and 12th, so they're not miles away so far this season. Wolfsburg, they weren't playing very well for a while. They ended a run of 6 games without a win and 4 defeats in a row with a 1-0 win over Hamburg last weekend. So finally back to winning ways. So that did take them from 5 to 8 points. So maybe that's where we're seeing the gap being closed, because Hamburg or Hoffenheim have looked a bit more comfortable at times and a bit stronger in attack. They have been kind of more consistent, whereas Wolfsburg not so much, because they lost to Kiel in the cup after picking up that win. So yeah, Hoffenheim, they played out a thriller with St. Pauli. They lost 8-7 on penalties after 2 all draws. That's the kind of match you want in the cup, especially as a neutral. Hoffenheim, they've won both of the last 2 games, Bundesliga games. They scored 3 goals in each of those last 2 games. So Hoffenheim win at 2.65. It could happen, but if you look at who has been scoring for Hoffenheim recently, and we got it right in the last episode, 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, anytime goal scorer, came in last week. I'm going to go for that again. I think he can continue to score. It worked last week. I think it can work again. So 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, anytime goal scorer, yeah, I think they should be 2.75 maybe instead of 1.75. I'm not sure. I'd have to check that again. It seems a bit low for him, but yeah, he looks a good bet to score anytime.
Okay, check then there you go, 2.7. Check the goal scorer market. Hoffenheim to score 1.5 goals for 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Well, guys, this is it for the Bundesliga show on the Sunday. Remember, of course, you can participate in our tipster competitions and win some money. November is starting tomorrow, so you have the chance to participate in our monthly competitions and win some cash money. There you go, the winners of this October. And also, as always, you can check rivals and create your own tipster competition. Also some money to be made there. Ronan, let's go with your safe bet.
Yeah, my safe bet is going to be a Frankfurt double chance at 1.30.
And the ACCA?
My ACCA, hopefully we get another one right, because last week's came in. So my ACCA is Dortmund to win, Frankfurt over 1.5 goals, and Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern versus Leverkusen over 2.5 goals. That's 3.63.
Okay, let's place our bets in the Bundesliga. Thank you, Ronan. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.